things are definitely heating up in the dungeon because, well, the world is very much dangerous. As we know, death is around every corner, even though it's not exactly permanent. But the troubles of the surface, forces vying for power and those that claim to already have it, and then the mad magician of the dungeon itself posing more than one issue. But gravitating around a brand new group, seeing a lot of sort of a certain family and their entire entourage and how those interactions go down and why exactly he was part of the party in the first place, despite hating Liao's guts entirely. That's what all good friendships are built on, isn't it? Mutual distaste for one another. But there should be plenty more meals to be had in the future now that we've gotten past that immediate unpleasantness. After all, maybe if we're heading back onto the surface, get to retread old grounds. Or Kelpie? Grab a drink. Let's get into the episode. I do love pretty much everything about this. Being able to explore a new world, as it was, with them. Considering, well, no, I was about to say they haven't been this far down, but no, they have in the first place, because it's, eaten by a dragon. But there still seems to be a lot in this dungeon that they haven't actually come across on the first time round. Tentacles and whatnot being one thing that springs to mind, considering how little they know of all the danger. But considering the amount of people we've seen on this journey down and kind of acquaintances met along the way, I'm assuming the orcs are going to reappear at some point. Whether they come to the rescue or not is debatable. But on episode 18 out of... can't remember if it's 24 or not, the standard, but I'm expecting something big to happen in the next couple. And I don't think I've said it as much as I probably should have, but I do love how Senshi is so defined and yet so so loosely defined as well. Oh, maybe she's like a cat and can squeeze into unnecessarily small places. Okay, and why is it snowing? Or is it ash? Or just really bad dandruff? The floor itself has changed and converted. Has the magician... right, had a hand in it. Make things a bit odd for them all. And if they don't act fast, it might wash away. Well, how quickly do the cleaners take action? Because we saw them repair the wall pretty damn quick, but... yeah, what about lost equipment? So if they can locate this dugout or give a closure to it all, distract them for a second. Of course, the font of knowledge here would tell us the background to it all. Oh, it was all over the coins. Huh. Kind of burst into ash and dust. In order to regain what was lost long ago, despite it already being long gone. Well, he experienced it firsthand, after all. Yep. Remember when he kind of dived in trying for food? I mean, he didn't think that it was, that big of a deal until the issue with Fallon. Then he had more things to worry about at the time. Oh yeah, the lifespan differences of the various races. I mean, if the dungeon itself is feeding the magician. True, but I don't think they're in the right mind to have a proper sit-down discussion with you all. If the safety of the dungeon the king is paramount. Form a line. It should have tied a rope to one another. Excusez-moi. We have a tag-along. But to be fair, that kind of vambrace, I think it can only belong to one. Anyone got a light? I thought there was a echo. Hang on, did someone answer for me? Too bright. I do like how there was actual. I am horrified by at least one of those. We've got a JoJo character in here. We've got kind of very lax imitations some of the time, though. Don't worry, I'm just a sheep. I think we can safely conclude that at least one of them there is the real deal. He seems relatively okay about that whole ordeal. Well, it's kind of impressive how they... some of the interpretations of the shapeshifters here are pretty close, and then there's whatever the fuck Laos's types are. I do like how Children is basically the same, just in slightly different art styles. An imposter? Impossible! Out the airlock! It might be best not to ask. Oh. Oh yeah, there's no holes in it. Someone's not very observant. I mean, lock them away together where they can't hurt anyone but themselves? Sure. But can't they just shapeshift into something that's thinner than the bars and get through? Now we just have to play a nice game of guess who and who's actually paying attention to their party. I agree, sharp chin Senshi. I'm pretty sure that chill truck there is from Senshi's memory, considering how much he treats him as a child. Yeah. I mean, she had her hood up, but at least it was braided. I don't believe that. I mean, she does change her hair a lot. I do like how that is a sticking point. We're all kind of vaguely similar. We can't tell who's apart, but Marcel has different hair because, she actually goes through a bunch of styles. Yeah, that only you would know, but would they know the answer to what you would know? Magic. One of them is a true witch. They're going to argue about whose upbringing and learning was truly correct. I do like how it's more like an interpretation of what they believe the other party does. Like just a couple of wobbly tools shoved in a small belt. Yeah, that's chill chuck. True. I mean, they kind of know each other's meal behavior. I mean, since he's the only guaranteed true being right here. Well, here's the thing, though. Laos isn't trying to look out for his teammates. He knows monster behavior. So, it's kind of like the inverse. I don't know which one to shoot. As he just goes, oh, that one's definitely a monster. But the fact that between the three of them there, they can't tell that a certain Senshi is a little more defined and rugged than usual. Maybe the blizzard just affected his skin. Even in the memory right there, it wasn't a proper character model. No wonder they can't remember each other. With your counterpart. That's actually probably a better idea than like splitting up one-on-one with random people. And giving them colours, I guess. I mean, Chiltruck has a fear of boxes, doesn't he, considering the mimic? I mean, would Chiltruck ever ask for help? He's the... Yeah, but he's the one that is the one that is to look after all the locks, the traps, the picking and whatnot. Why would he ask for something as simple as a jar? He's not going to give it away to the kind of expression you wouldn't trust around your pets or neighbors or kids or anyone really. Must be the real one. I mean, ones that have faces and mammalian qualities. just getting on with it. I mean, even if she is a shapeshifter, can we trade in the real one for this? Throws up less of a fuss. I mean, she will do anything for Fallon, yes, but there'll still be complaining in the way. And after all of this, they'll have a pretty grand meal as well. I mean, it depends on whose memories of Senshi this is. Because if they just remember him as a good cook, then this is going to be delicious. They're getting along too well. Throw him in the pit. Would be funny if there was an oubliette here, though. It's a lifestyle here. Yeah, he's one with the dungeon itself. Knowing how to bring out the best and make sure the equilibrium is saved. There you go. I think we know whose memory it is. He didn't have this. Imagine, yeah, having shapeshifters turn into you, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I prefer this version. That one. Look at the face. No one could make such an ugly duplicate. It's just my face." Oh. I do like how this has turned into just a... It's got a little... Yeah, I do like how this turned into a social deduction episode. Uh-huh. The one who looks like an arsehole. The one who threw a fit, yeah. The dopey one. Are they going to go along with your idea? I mean, gut feelings. If anything else, ignore logic, ignore following anything, just gut feeling and intuition. I mean, that's what's got Laos through this far. True, they would fight for their survival. Take out the one that is the straightforward issue to them. Aha. Wow, the fact he's playing the long game here, more than just the imposters in front of them, but what's caused them, what brought them on. And while the illusions are distracted, he can see about taking out the root cause. Please don't get down on all fours. Is he gonna, what? Make himself... Oh, no, he is actually getting down on all fours. I was going to say make himself look big and scary, but now bark. Like you mean it. Can we get the louses that were in jail out? I mean, his impression's pretty damn good. Huh. And what about the... Weren't they just fighting for their lives just now? Oh, it's falling apart. Back into leaves, like fucking... It would have been funny, though, if there was one left in the cage and both of the versions out here changed. Like... leaves, like Tanuki transformations and all that in Japanese lore. Rah. He's going a bit far for this, isn't he? Is she just going to... Is she there for the revival, or... Yeah. Long-range support right there. I mean, you don't need to jump in head first, after all. Alive is a variable state. Yep, he's a real one. No, the food! That's... Does that mean they didn't use any ingredients, though? Mm-hmm. Whereas he was, yeah, staying away from any of the bars, anything like that. Yep, gathering everything, rather than leave bits in place. Huh. The fact that she wasn't thinking about it is what was genuine. Okay, I like that. Please stop stroking that. Is he now going to carry this fruit around with him? Not knowingly, no, but someone's memory definitely... Definitely not. Don't think about it. They've scarpered. So was the distraction itself a distraction for something else? One that might have, you know, latched on for help during the blizzard. Greetings. I'm for it. I do like how they're, you know, if they had showed themselves, would there have been any illusion versions of themselves? Considering they have almost no recollection of who that is. Or there was, and they had already killed them. No need to worry about what others think of them if they are no longer amongst the living. But this show has a little bit of everything. Food, fun, questioning the very basis of knowledge of one another. Good thing that most of the versions of Laos were so unreasonably dumb that they would just let themselves into the cage in prison without a second thought. Be like, yeah, no, this is fine. But I do like how vulnerably pathetic the magician is. And I mean that in a way of they've got this vast power and knowledge, forbidden magics, a dungeon to their own ordained creed, and yet chasing after an existence that has already slipped past. The king getting away and warning others of what this place is. He himself wanting an end to whatever insanity has become of this place. And yet the magician not wanting to give it up, no matter how devoid of sanity that request is. But, to be fair, we've seen much grander plans and personal fallings from grace by people that are trying to reclaim their past, something that they used to enjoy, something that they loved. So this is kind of, as I said, laughably pathetic, in a very melancholic kind of way. If they weren't so downright dangerous, maybe we'd have a bit of pity. But I do like certain things I picked up on. Obviously, good-looking Senshi just wasn't fit for this world, but Chilchuck and his aversion to certain spaces, thanks to some rather angry box-type PTSD. Granted, we saw that separately because they were they asleep at the time and he went off? I can't remember how that played out, but they came back, the mimic was crushed under a gate. They didn't see what the issue was, but Chilchuck probably informed them quite vividly of what happened and the issues therein of. If it was me, though, and the driving force behind, yeah, that's the real one, is, yeah, you didn't think about your actions when you did it. You were just pouring water away, even though the Undine killed, almost, well, actually did kill you for that before. Or did it kill Laos? I can't remember who it was, but someone. It's like, oh yeah, damn. That is definitely something I would do. Mortal peril, danger, something that you should have learned to enable, save your own life in the future. Sorry, what was that? I wasn't listening. What? And then after all was said and done and they've become good friends again and they know each other on an intrinsically shallow level, getting a new face amongst the crowd. One that could potentially have a better meal than just a few loose handfuls from a bag. To be fair, the party was lacking a certain caliber, certain role amongst the group, and this one might fit the bill. And unless the eyes, the shape of the hat, and certain comments made by members of Shura's party, oh, and the fact that Kuro really didn't like her, I have a certain idea of what this character is about, and if I'm disappointed, I'll be drastically disappointed, actually. Tears flooding everywhere. But I want to see what comes of this dungeon, what more is going to be said about it, the elves that are mysteriously ever present and ever coming and yet never showing. If they are heading back up to the surface, obviously, there'll be kind of a debriefing that's going to be needed. And hopefully they've written their adventure down somewhere, because Laos is a font of knowledge right now about monster ecology, biology, and cuisine. And I'm sure Chilchuck and Marcel picked up a thing or two along the way. But I enjoyed this. I want to see more. As always, this show is funny. Some interesting expressions and the like, even without the vastly different shape-shifting escapades on display. I want to see more, and I kind of want to see it right now. If I entertained you, let me know. If I did something wrong, leave it down in the comments. If you want to make sure not to miss out future episodes, consider subscribing to the channel, or jump onto my Discord for much the same, notifications when videos come out, or polls when I put on, or need to vote on, new shows that are going on the channel. But for now, get yourselves a bit of rest. So I can see you for the next one.